Hi everyone, John Soulos here, the Managing Director of Global Business Camps. I'm currently in Brisbane preparing for a preview session for our upcoming camp, and I thought I would take a couple of minutes just to really talk about this fantastic video I've just seen. The video is of Tricia from Train to Succeed. Tricia and her husband Randall came to our last year's camp. They've actually taken the software that I showed you on the last video that we had that I asked you to download and actually implemented it in their business. She talks about in great detail on the value of how the pricing changes have impacted their business. But she also talks about the concerns she had about going in and increasing prices. So she talks about testing and measuring. It is truly powerful. You should have a look at it. The other thing Tricia talks about is about being on the bus. At the camp I talk about you're either on the bus or off the bus. Tricia and Randall have taken that and gone back to their business and reviewed which people are going in the same direction they are. And obviously there's been some people that are no longer there. So she's taken it and she'll talk about how they implemented on the bus and off the bus in their business. The other thing that you should know about these people is that they're truly passionate. They are hardworking. Last year they came to the camp with their 4 young children and both sets of grandparents. Now that to me is a huge investment. They had to bring the 2 sets of grandparents to look after the young kids while they were in the course. So they had put a lot of time and effort into it. So obviously going back, they made sure that they implemented as much as they could. Please enjoy the video, take as much as you can out of it, maybe look at it a couple of times if you need to. I'll see you at the end of it. Thank you.
We had Randall, the other director, had 16 years as a police detective at the Queensland Police. He developed post-traumatic stress disorder, severe depression, and as a result needed to medically retire. So we went through a process of looking at him and thinking, what on earth are we going to do? He needs a job. So the simple solution was that we knew we needed to translate those skills into something that could be recognised outside the police. He went through a process of gaining nationally recognised qualifications and used his policing skills to gather the evidence for that. And someone said to us, why don't you start offering a training organisation? So doing something similar, offering nationally recognised qualifications based on people's skills. So we set up Train to Succeed. Very valuable to have had the account sitting at the table when we were at the camp, and that got raised because he knew where we were at, and he immediately pulled us on about, okay, what are the figures that we're talking about? So let's do a theoretical raising of 20%, and we both went, can't do 20%. No, sorry, no, can't do that. But we chose 15%. And we looked at the figures and we thought, okay, well, we haven't raised the prices since 2006. It was kind of like the angel on the shoulder, devil on the other idea. We had that global financial crisis muttering in your ear. And then we had this, but we do a good service and we're unique and we haven't raised prices since 2006, but our costs have gone up. So we actually put a foot in both camps, which I haven't admitted to the business camps yet, but we actually raised, we have two arms of the business. We raised the prices on one arm at 15% and we declined to on the other. And we have left it that way for the moment while we worked out that one arm was very price sensitive in the market and that we really felt we were at the top of that anyway. So we left that alone. We haven't been unhappy with that decision, and we felt like the tools from the business camp needed to be applied to our business as we felt confident to do so. But for one arm, we did. We took a 15% hike straight away. Now, most clients said nothing. We've had probably 5 that have come back and just by email said, repeat clients, I've noticed you've raised your prices. And that's been the extent of it. Income immediately went up, which sent Randall into a little dance, and the clients really didn't balk at it. When asked, we simply said the truth. We haven't raised prices since 2006. This is what we do. We believe it's still a competitive price. We know it is. And this is the service. So we're quite open about acknowledging the price, but we have this belief, a Warren Buffett quote, the price is what you pay, but the value is what you get. Yep. So we talk about that, and we talk about what the value is in that figure. But we really that made a big difference to our business, that 15%.
So anybody that was watching this now that would be thinking about raising their prices, what would your one piece of advice be about how to work out how much they should raise it? I know you're not an accountant.
No, not an accountant.
From a business operation point of view, just in your experience.
Look, in my experience, we came to the view that 15% didn't sound as big as 20. It's not a technical approach, but it was kind of a testing the waters. 10%, when you looked at the figures, 10% put you at all sorts of odd numbers and didn't really feel like much, and 15% felt like we were taking the next step up, but not enough that we couldn't kind of say to the clients there's still great value in that. My advice would really be have a go, because I think something's better than nothing, but I think if you're going to step out, you might as well do a little bit beyond your comfort level, and for us, really, our comfort level is probably 10%.
Did you use the piece of software John had, a little calculator?
We did that down at the camp, and we did that with our accountant since, and that helped with the 15%.
Right.
So, but we did a lot of our books from the camp at that section have a lot of scribbling and a lot of notations of 15%, and during the camp it held on pretty tight, actually, that notion of raising the prices. During the camp, from time to time, Randall would slide a piece of paper across to me, have figures on it, and it was all about, he was still projecting what would happen if we raised it. You know, what really helped was, and this is, if you hear us talking to other businesses about rising prices, what we will say is that the information that the camp provided about how much we would have to raise our prices before we lost our customers, that was great, because that was kind of like, that was our backstop. You know, okay, well, we're below that. You know, so I love a good set of facts.
Right.
Trial lawyer, love facts. Let's just talk about the facts. So, if the business camp, from the minute John put up above and said, right, do you know how much you'd have to raise it? Then that was my moment of I accepted it, moved on. Can't tell you what the numbers were because I accepted it. Went, right, I have confidence in what you're saying. My accountant's echoing it beside me. I'm looking at it. So now it's a matter of what we're going to pick. And for our first ever price rise, and it was, we're going to pick 15%. I'm already toying at the back of my head with how we deal with that next year. So it's now become not such a cultural shift for me to look at it and go, right, we do need to talk about prices regularly. We cannot just roll along and leave it back in, whatever year it was we decided to start. So that's been a big change. And I'm no longer fearful of quoting a price. Sometimes you can quote a price and put your hand up and kind of wait for the rejection.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that, because what I'm focusing on is that I know what our values are. I know what we're committed to with our customers. So I believe that the price they're going to pay, they're not going to think about down the track, because they're going to believe it was one of the best investments they made. Same way I believe that the money we spent on the business camp, including all the extras that we had to tag along, was really good money for us.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you what the total bill was, because I can tell you what I've gained, and that's how I'm approaching it with our clients.
So after you've made those first initial changes, let's just fast forward in the time machine now.
Yep.
And talk about where the business is at now, and in comparison to where it was before, just in size, in volume of work, staff, things like that. If you can talk in percentages, that'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
I don't expect you to start revealing dollar figures or anything like that. But you're more than welcome to if you want to.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can say that since the business camp, we have a staff of 12. Of those, 4 came on since the camp. We have made an offer to 2 more this week. So, from 8 at the business camp, we've gone up to, will be 14. So that's not a bad growth level. We bought commercial premises. We bought a commercial premises, which was bloody scary, let me tell you. And it was difficult because the financial crisis mode changed that whole ballgame in terms of how lenders do. And the business camp was a big key in us actually following through on that, because there were a number of times where that was a really difficult process. We were fine, but the banks weren't. So we kept coming back to the thing that they start the camp was, begin with the end in mind. Where are we going? Now the bank might not see that, but we do. We know where we're going with this. So we went through the process going, right, we're committed to buying this premises, and this is the premises we've identified because a number of reasons. It matches our end in mind.
Well, it's pretty nice.
It's nice, yeah, but it also will deliver the services at the level we want for our clients.
Yeah.
So we've done that since we started. We now speak differently within our business. We have a theme song, which is another thing, but I feel it's going to be a good day today. The Black Eyed Peas are singing this song, and we've adopted it madly. We play it through the speakers each day. But one of the reasons we do that is we want people to know what we value. We worked out that our values were to treat people with integrity, generosity and good humour.
And look, that's really surprising again. Based on your background, like being a trial lawyer, like I think you'd be really opposed to the whole happy clappy,
Love a bit of happy clappy. I probably didn't come from that professionally.
Yeah.
But what we've realised is that we don't want a job, we want a business.
Yeah.
So we need people. We believe it's a privilege for people to get on the bus with us.
Yeah.
For us, and so we want this business to support that whole group.
And has coming to work become fun?
It definitely has improved, yeah. It also means that, it's funny, people get a taste of, they think we're being positive. We weren't negative people to start with, but we're really positive in terms of maintaining that focus. And what we've found is that people start to, we call it glomming on. So you get other business or people wanting to be in business, but really they want a job, ringing us with offers of how we could be on board with them. And it's beautiful because what we say to them is, look, that isn't the end we've got in mind. It doesn't really fit with our business plan. Thank you for thinking of us. We wish you well. But it enables us to keep coming back to, actually, what did we say we existed to do? Oh, that's right. We existed to become this. That doesn't fit with that. So those tools... the other thing we've done since we changed is how we interview people and induct them.
Yeah.
Our focus is on customer service. So, and that's come about since the camp. I know I'm a bit obsessive about transactions. I refuse to do a transaction with someone unless they talk to me because I want to see what their customer service is like. And so often you go places and they won't talk to you. They transact. But I don't want a transaction. I actually want some relationship. So we're very big with our team on this is about relationship. We love problems with our clients. The only reason we love problems with our clients was that at the business camp, they showed us some statistics on what happens when you have a problem and you fix it in terms of your ability to get that client back. It escalates, goes through the roof. We love it. So now when a problem arises, whilst there's one part of me goes, bloody hell, I've got to fix it, the other part of me goes, right, if I do this really well, we've actually got an opportunity to come out of it better.
Client for life.
Client for life. So we teach our team that. When we inducted we did a week-long induction with them, and we sent them out with each $20. And we sent them out to the local business community, said, here's your shopping list. And it was odd little things from a number of businesses. Now, their brief was to just go and buy. When they came back, though, we talked to them about the customer service they'd experienced, and we pulled it apart, and we set them up a bit, because we knew that there's one lady out in this community who has phenomenal customer service. Ironically, works at the local bakery. But we sent them in to meet her and to see how she transacted. She didn't transact, she has a relationship. Everybody buys a bread roll. But those are the lessons. And then we consistently talk about the stats that we came away from the business camp about why our customers will leave us. And perceived indifference was John's harping point. And I can understand why when you look at, I think it was 68%. It was a really high percentage of why people will move on, perceived indifference. So we talk to our team all the time about that. They're going to leave if they think we don't care. And that's our issue. So how we now believe as a business, Randall and I are running it, and we believe that we have a business, we don't have a job, is that our focus is on two lots of people. The people we work with, in terms of looking after them, rewarding them, having confidence in them, and the people that come through our door as a client, and we believe in giving them the best service. So I've concluded that customer service isn't actually about the customer is always right. John talks about that, and it is one level, but it's actually about it's about putting their needs above mine. And by doing so, I meet my own. But it gives them, we say to every client now, what is it that we can give you beyond this qualification that gives you that extra. So that's our first question of any prospective client, and then we do everything to honour that.
Okay, and look, just in winding up, if there was one thing you could tell any business owner out there, I mean, every business owner all have similar kinds of problems.
Yep.
In the end of the day, there's this, or there's stuff that goes on every day that's common amongst everything. If there's one thing you could tell them that they could implement today that would make a little change to their business, and this is just out of your own experience, it might not necessarily be from what you've learned, that combined from what you've learned in the camps and then putting that into practice, what would that be today?
One thing. Business Camp had this rule, and it's not, I'll say it in the politest way because that would be, it had a term called FIFO. So it was about your team fitting in or moving on, and you can elaborate on how you think that FO might work. But that's massive, because the people that we have to work with and are servicing our clients and are working with each other have to fit in with where you want this to be going. And for us, what we've found is that when we've moved people out, when we've said fit in with this or move off, we've taken steps forward. Because we're not caught up on daily, dealing with, they're not doing the right thing with the client by the way standard we want, or they're not speaking well to their colleagues. So we actually employ people and now tell them that that's our policy. But that has been massive in letting us move on. And the other, sorry, I have two. Sorry. The other thing is that we've had to accept the 80% rule they talked about, in that we have our own imaginary 100%. So Randall and I do things, if we're doing something for a customer, we imagine that it's at 100% because we own it, we're invested in it heavily. We've had to accept to let it go and let someone else in our team that, we've brought on board with the right attitude, deliver at 80% of what we might do, but it lets us be free to work on the business and not in it. And that has been a big key to us stepping aside and growing and being free, which is what we went to the camp, we stood up, looked at each other and went, we want to be free. Well, we need to let go and let other people perform it. Maybe 80% of what we can do, but still perform.
So those two things really go back into one thing, and saying that the staff are the business.
Yeah.
And I gather what you're saying there is the staff is the business. And you have to actually make sure that the staff fit the attitude of the business.
They do.
And if they don't,
off the bus. I said we were. Don't be afraid. And we recently got someone off the bus a bit quickly, and our team have now grown to realise that they might be looking out the window and not realise why we need to stop the bus. But we're stopping the bus for good reason, and that's because we know we're going. This person actually isn't going there. So don't be afraid to stop the bus. Get people off the bus because you know where you're going.
Welcome back. I know you would have loved that video. I absolutely loved it. It is amazing when you can see how things can happen in business just by trying something. Tricia and Randall used the software, made some changes, increased their prices and saw what impact it could have on their business. They've gone off and started making those changes. And as you can see, it's truly amazing. That stuff can also happen in your business. You've got to get the software and use it. If you haven't actually downloaded the software already, please on my right-hand side, go down, fill in the form, and it will take you to a special area where you can download the software. Once you get the software, start using it. Start trying different permutations, and you'll see the impact it can have on your business. By the way, our next video will be all about growing a business, and that will be coming out shortly, so look out for our email. Once again, thank you very much for listening. My name is John Soulos.